Okay, so let me walk you through kind of what we were doing on this trailer. It's a beautiful Monday, getting some great work in. My dad has been working on windows. You can see how they all can be adjusted and opened now. So we've got all new hardware for that. Let me show you what that looks like. Riveting on these new plastic clips, which basically this arm can clip in 3 different settings. These were all, the old ones were broken up. Plastic was bad, you could barely use them. So we replaced all those. I got those from Vintage Trailer Supply. Here's what they look like. Vintage Trailer Supply. Worked out great. Swapped them right out. We've also been working on getting the C-channel secured. Now I've screwed in all the C-channel to the plywood. We've also put in 24 bolts in through the C-channel, through the plywood, and into the frame of the trailer, into the outriggers and into the ends of the trailer. And those are attached with 5/16 bolts and lock nuts on the other side. On this one, you can see I ran an aluminum piece of aluminum inside there to kind of strengthen. That C-channel was all pretty beat up, so this is going to hopefully help with that. Got one here. These are all going into the end of the frame, and then these here on the outside, you can see one there. These are hidden outriggers on the outside of the frame. So basically, all the C-channel is secured to the frame. The next thing we got to do, obviously, is get the shell itself secured to the C-channel with rivets. So that's a quick rundown of kind of what we've been up to, what we've been working on. Not super exciting, but the little stuff that we've just been having to knock out. It's nice to have the windows where I can open them now and get a breeze, because it's starting to get hot in Texas. We're getting into the summer and the temperature is going to start cooking in here. It's going to be getting hot. I'm going to probably lose my dad. He's probably not going to come leave his air-conditioned home and help me out. I don't blame him either. He's retired. He shouldn't have to. What's up, Mayor? What you doing? Good boy. You're a good boy. Okay, so for the side wraps, I left all, there's 4 side wraps, I left them all long, hanging into the wheel well. So basically it didn't back me into a corner. I was able to trim to the actual spot that I needed to meet the shell. If I had tried to do it exactly how it needed to be, there's a good chance it would have been off and I would have to remake the whole wrap. So we left them long, used some tin snips to kind of just cut that slight curve down to the outrigger and then up to meet the shell. I'll rivet it onto the outrigger, and then there's actually a piece of trim that goes around the whole wheel well section that covers up that transition and makes that line look nice and clean. So it doesn't have to be a perfect cut. That trim piece gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Around the door was really pretty tricky. I had to cut little notches just to go up under the door frame, and I struggled with it. It was not easy. I did bend up the aluminum a little brute force and ignorance finally got it in there. I had to do quite a bit of trimming to get it right, and I had to do that on both sides of the door. You only see me doing it on one side. And on the other side, there's a little lever that releases the step. You have to cut a notch in for that as well. Now once I had them all notched and in place, I could drill the holes and use Claycoats to kind of clamp them and hold them. And then it's a matter of putting rivets in. I put rivets every 4 inches, which I tried to match the original pattern, which I think was enough rivets. I did get some waviness to it, and there's a trim piece that will cover that. You'll see that in here in a bit. And hopefully that sits okay. I'm a little concerned there that maybe that trim piece is gonna not sit very good on the trailer because it sticks up a little bit in sections. Maybe putting more rivets in would have helped. I don't know. I think there's plenty in there structurally. Those rivets go through the side wrap, through the shell, and into the C-channel, and that's basically what ties the whole thing together, attaches it to the chassis, and makes it one solid unit. That was the wrong size drill bit. What did we do here? I got all the wrong Claycoats in. All right. Okay. One more. Good. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay. Good. This one may be tricky. One more. All right. Got him. Okay, so I've run into one issue with this side wrap here on the back. Street side, I didn't leave it long enough. I didn't leave enough overhang here. So when we wrap it up, it's gonna hit right about there. So basically I need to shift it down. Now the trick is, I don't have a lot of room in my opening, so basically gonna shift it as much as I can and hope that that gets me to there. Let me show you the other side so you have a better idea how this looks when it all comes together, because I already kind of hung the trim piece on there. It's not attached, but it's just sitting. So this trim piece will cover up that transition. This piece, which is the bottom trim, and it drops in just like that and covers your seam. Pretty cool. But if this is over here, you have this nasty looking gap, and that's no good. So we're gonna fix that, hopefully. Okay, Junie, you hold that just like that. Johnny, you help Junie hold it. Careful, because those edges are sharp. This is, what's this called, guys? You know what it's called. Look what I'm doing with it. A clamp.
A clamp. Oh. Okay. Oh.
Okay, y'all can let go of it.
Yay!
Thanks for the help, guys.
You're welcome, Dad.
Thanks, Johnny. So I want to tell you about this stuff real quick. It's called butyl tape. It's got a double stick to it, and it's really, really sticky. Kind of almost like a spongy material. I don't really know how to describe it, but it creates a seal. So you just fold it up, stick it to the shell, and then it kind of has a seal there. I use it on the Vista windows as well. On top of the butyl tape, I'm also going to come in with the Total Boat aluminum boat sealer. Those two things combined should keep water from running down into my side wraps. Okay, so that's it. Oh, little spider there. Hey, bud. That's about as good as I think we're going to get it. I think the trim will cover that. Definitely the horizontal will. I just want to make sure these lines kind of line up the best that I can get them. To get exactly right, we would have to remake this piece. I don't have enough room to move it over, so I'm not going to do that. I don't have the aluminum. I think that's just not worth the effort. So we're good on that. Let's get some rivets in this, get it in place, and then we'll knock out that one. Okay, so we got all the rivets in the side wraps. Everything is riveted on. Pretty much sealed it up the best I could. Next step, still got more riveting to do. There's a lot of riveting to do on this whole front plate. That's all got to be riveted in. You can see all the old rivets. So we're going to do that. And then the rear plate as well, we got to drill those holes and rivet those in. So that is next. And once we do that, all the riveting should be done. And this thing should be drivable at that point. Should be able to pull it down the road. Should be well secured. So let's knock out these rivets.
No, it's okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Good.
Okay, so we've got all the side wraps attached. I've got all the aluminum sealant down in there to help keep water running. I know you're probably thinking, why didn't you put the side wrap under the skin? I'm just doing it the way it originally was. This is the way it was when I got it. It makes sense to put it under the skin so water doesn't run in there, but it also would be really difficult to tuck it under. So this is the way it's done. I think with the sealant we're going to be all good. We've got all 4 sides done, all 4 corners I should say. So what I want to do now is go through and patch up any holes with some aluminum patches that I'm going to make. So like here, you had an old antenna that came out here. We'll just make a little circle patch. Same thing down here. Every pipe vent I'm going to patch. I went ahead and took out the old stove vent where that big hole is. I'm going to go ahead and patch that just temporarily. I want to find one to replace it. That way I don't have a giant patch right there. What else do we got to patch? I think that's it. We have a few spots up top where there was a big antenna. I'm gonna go ahead and patch that. All the stuff on top you're not gonna see, so I don't mind putting the patch. The great thing about the patches is we're gonna use our X-Carve, which is a CNC that I have, and they're actually sponsoring this video, and it's gonna make quick work of this. I'm gonna go ahead and be able to cut out the circles and pre-drill all the holes for the rivets. So it should be a real simple, easy task. I use that machine a lot on my furniture work, and I'm looking forward to incorporating it into this project. And this is the first part we're going to do that. So let's go in, set up some aluminum, and get this drawn up and carved out. So the great thing about the X-Carve is they have their own kind of software designed with it. It's called Easel, and it takes all the challenge out of the CNC works. Easel sets up all your tool paths, it sets up all your plunge depth, the speed of the tooling, everything is done for you there. You can tweak it if you want, if you have the know-how, but everything is pretty much set up for you if you put in the parameters properly. Now for these patches, we've got 8 patches we're making. And basically, I drew these up prior in SketchUp, which is how I always do it. And then you transfer that as an SVG file in the easel, and then you set how you want it cut out. So you can set where your tool path wants to go, on the outside of the line, on the line, inside the line. The holes, so I have all the holes pre-laid out for the rivets, which is a huge time saver. Those are all set to clear out of pockets, so it just takes out that little 5-30 seconds hole. First time I've ever carved aluminum, a few hiccups, a few challenges, but Easel makes it super easy because they figure out the speed rate of the tooling because you can input your material as aluminum and then it calculates all that for you. Great little machine. I use it all the time in my shop to make jigs and fixtures and stuff like that for my furniture work, and here it makes quick work of making these patches. Now I'm really excited to use the machine in the future as we start building out the woodwork inside the Argosy and needing curved parts and just a lot of intricate stuff going on that the CNC will be very helpful for. So I want to say thanks to X-Carve, always great. I've been working with this machine for a year and a half or 2 years now, and I do like it. I use it quite often. Okay, a few hours later, and we've got a little bit of sanding. Got all the patches we need to cover up holes. Now let's go put them on. Okay, so we've got a lot of the patches done. Most of the roof is done. Actually, all the roof's done. So I'll just take the drone up there and show you what that looks like. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so that shuts it down for this video. Now you saw that I patched up all the spots on the top, even where the old vents and AC were. I went ahead and just duct taped an aluminum sheet over those the best I could. Did the same thing right here, and then just some little flex tape here. Basically the idea is just to keep water out of it. We've gotten quite a bit of spring rain here in Texas, and it's gonna sit like this for a while, so I want it to not be leaking water all inside. So that's the idea behind the patches. We did get some heavy rain end of last week, and it does leak through the windows a little bit. I got some work to do to seal it up perfectly tight, but that's to be expected. I just want to say a huge thanks to all of y'all who have been watching the videos, supporting the videos, enjoying the series, commenting on the videos. I think I started this in January, and I would say I'm close to halfway through. I'm thinking, I mean, I've never done this before, but I feel like I'm close to halfway through. Couple big hurdles. First, I got to get this painted. I have no idea how to do that. I know for a fact I can't afford to pay someone to do it because I'm sure it's going to be like $6-7 grand to have it professionally painted. So I'm going to have to figure out how to paint it myself. I don't know what kind of paint to use. I don't really know. I don't know. I got to do some research. But if anybody knows a lot about painting, specifically automotive painting or painting of this type, shoot me a comment. Let me know. I would love to get some advice on that. The next big step on this is the wheel wells. I'm going to have custom aluminum wheel wells fabricated. Hopefully going to do that this week. That's in another shop. I'm going to film that. I'm going to go out there and film them doing that, so y'all get to see it, which is cool. But I'm at their mercy of their schedule, so it's kind of slows things down a little bit. Overall, you should expect this project to probably slow down quite a bit. Unfortunately, my game plan the whole time, as you know, this is a really expensive thing to do, restoring one of these, or as you can imagine, those who have done it can relate. And my whole game plan was to cash flow the whole project with ad revenue from YouTube. The last 5 or 6 weeks, that has dropped off quite a bit. If you watch YouTube, you might have heard that's been happening, and that's to be expected. The economy's not doing great. The ad money's going away a little bit. It's a bummer, but that's life. I'm not here complaining about it. I'm just saying there's not as much money coming in to fund the project. So because of that, I might pump the brakes a little bit on the big stuff. And wait maybe a few months and see if things start picking up a little bit. Hopefully, we'll see. Regardless, this thing's going to get done. The next big thing outside of the wheel wells and painting it, which I'd love to get your opinion on that, is starting to run the electrical, which we are going to start doing that. That's not a big deal. I'm going to start running wires in there and hopefully get the interior walls back on once I get the wheel wells. Then I'm probably going to spend a few weeks with just 1/4-inch plywood mocking up different interior layouts. I have a lot of ideas of how I want to lay out the interior. I do not think it's a good idea just to start building out the interior without doing a mock-up. It's advice that was given to me by Colin Hyde, and I really think it's a wise thing to do. It's a tight space. It needs to be well planned, properly executed. I don't necessarily work well. My brain doesn't work well with 2D plans, drawing up plans online. I need to see it in real. I need to see it in the 3D space, and I think it's going to be great too to have Emily and my wife come in and see the layout as well, and we can really dial in exactly how we want it. I originally planned on putting bunk beds in on this side, and I'm thinking about taking that out and actually building a hanging loft in it. That way we don't take up all this space with the bunk beds. These are all ideas. I'm rambling on, but that's why I want to use the plywood and kind of mock up the whole interior. Okay, sorry for that long rambling rant. I probably lost half of you there, but I just want to say how awesome y'all are. I appreciate you so much for tuning in, for watching these videos. I've been having so much fun fixing this camper up, and it's great to have the audience, great to have the comments and the suggestions. Finally, I want to say a big thanks to Xcar for sponsoring the video. If you want to learn more about them, there's a link in the description. Head over there and check them out. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.